Hey, what's up, everybody? It's JayViper here, and IGN has released their review of Dragon Age the Veilguard. And I haven't watched the video yet, but I did scroll down to see who reviewed it and what the score was, and it is as we expected quite a while ago. We called this. They're trying to get this to be the game of the year. They knew it. It was predetermined, and they're going to push hard for it. You wait and see with a score like this. We'll get to it right after you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
JayViper is awesome. He's so good looking. He's got the crown in all.
First things first, let's check out the score and see who the reviewer was, because I think this matters quite a bit. As we know, the game's director, Corin Bush, said that this game is inherently queer, okay? Now, I think it's very important to take a look at who is reviewing these games, because they may be biased, and we know who pushes hard for these types of games. Now, this is Liana Hafer, or Hafer. I don't know how to say it exactly. Who cares? It doesn't matter. So this is Liana right here, okay? I think you're already getting where I'm going, okay? And then we go and check out Liana's Twitter, and it is a she, they, who is clearly a man, okay? Clearly a man. And that is who is reviewing the queer Dragon Age the Veilguard game. So let's hear what they have to say. Or let's hear what he has to say.
As I excitedly slashed, blasted, wooed, looted, and delved my way through the stunning and enthralling world of Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Wow. Already, this is an advertisement. This is an advertisement. This person is shilling for the game. Listen. Listen to that. That is someone selling you something. That's not something reviewing. That is a sale.
I kept having one thought. Wait, BioWare made this? 2024 BioWare?
You're really selling it.
With this game...
Wow. Just came right out and said it with the NPC. Really selling it. Yeah. Okay.
You're really selling it.
coming in the wake of the debacle that was Anthem, itself preceded by Dragon Age Inquisition and Mass Effect Andromeda, which were both merely alright in hindsight.
Inquisition was the worst Dragon Age. That is for sure. But as a game, it was just okay.
I wasn't sure these
wasn't sold
former
on it.
masters of the role-playing game craft could make a game like this anymore.
So it is interesting, though. The gameplay and everything in this game is really just building off of building off of Inquisition. I mean, except making it even more of like a third-person just beat 'em up. I mean, that's really all this game is.
But putting together my team of interesting and endearing companions to save the world felt like getting the old band back together, in more ways than one.
Almost none of them are from the previous games. What's he talking about?
Archdemons attacking the north wall!
Try the horns.
The Archdemon's too loud!
No one's retreating.
There's no choice, sir. We're under siege. We have to fall back to the dragon trap.
Forget the trap. Send word to Commander Janos. Rally outside the wall.
You can listen to them. That voice acting is terrible. The voice acting's awful. I don't know if it's a voice acting or direction. I don't care. When I say voice acting, I'm talking about all of it. It's bad. And the writing is... the whole game, I mean, the writing is childish from what we've seen.
The scope of this adventure is the whole north of Thedas, sending you from the coasts of Ravane to the blighted wilds of the Anderfels,
This map looks
as
a
you
lot
attempt
like
to prevent the
Inquisition.
rise of an ancient and menacing evil.
More purple.
It was thrilling, as a longtime fan of the series, to finally see so many of the places I'd
played
only
as a
read
rogue.
about in a journal entry
Looks like.
way back in 2009. And the way
Elven rogue.
BioWare has us go about that exploration is very focused and deliberate. Veilguard's level design was one of the first things that jumped out at me.
So he just substituted linear for focused and deliberate, because you're basically on rails for this game. So he just hid the fact that it's not open world, which, again, this isn't a criticism of mine anyway. I don't care. But he is not being honest with the review already. He's dancing around it, because other Dragon Age games are obviously more open world.
Reminding me of the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic almost more than anything. The slick, looping corridors with just enough little nooks to discover are cleverly interconnected in a way that proves how a BioWare-style RPG gains a lot and loses almost nothing by ditching the idea of a fully open world. The exceptions to that are a couple of the more vertical sections of the city of Minrathous, which can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to navigate sometimes.
Okay.
Across the board, though,
he's like, find something negative so they can't say I didn't try.
Environment art is really jaw-dropping.
No, it's not. Look, okay, I paused perfectly. Look at these textures. They're fucking terrible. They're pathetic. Again, like I've said before many times, the layouts, whoever did the layouts, I think did a good job, but the texture artists are pathetic in this game. Nothing looks clean. Nothing looks like it's from 2024. Not the characters, not the layout, not the backgrounds, nothing. The layouts look good, but the texturing is pathetic in this game. He played on
desolate
PC
peaks
too,
of Kal Shirak to the surreal floating elven ruins.
That looks a mess. Complete mess. Look at that. Look at that. You tell me that doesn't look like a mess.
In Arlathan Forest. I was very pleased with the character designs too.
Of course.
The armor and
They're
outfits
androgynous.
are fabulous. I spent more than an hour in the character creator, like I usually do,
I mean,
and came out with a version of our protagonist, Rook, who delighted me every time she was in.
So I just want everyone to look at the email that he made. This is a female elf. You know, nice jaw. Like, again, this game is all about androgyny. You can't have anyone feminine. I mean, her eyes are a little feminine, but then like the brow. I mean, what the f are we doing?
Frame. This might be some of the best looking hair I've ever seen in a video game.
It's from FIFA.
Even with all
FIFA's
of that
hair.
visual splendor, I was able to get a stable 60 FPS at 4K on my RTX 4070 Super with DLSS set to maximum performance, which usually didn't affect the visual quality. And
I just want to call this out real quick. We already have people who are leaking, right? Who got codes and are talking about it. It does not run that well. And once NPCs start hitting the screen, you will notice lag, like stutters, pretty consistent stutters too.
Very noticeable ways. The one exception to this was in the late game when there could be so many spell effects going off at once that I not only lose frames, it's also just difficult to even see what's actually going on.
Oh, you don't say. One of my biggest complaints is that it's just dirty. Like the spell effects and every effect really in the game is to hide bad animation and poor combat and just basically hide the game so you can't see it. Like, so you can't see the problems in the game. And, oh, you're saying when there's lots of it going on, it's a real problem? Oh, no kidding, because the entire screen will light up when you have one effect going on. Like, when I play this game, and I'm going to, if anyone's interested, the day it releases, that morning through the afternoon, I'm going to play it. I'm going to stream it live here on my channel, so definitely follow. But I am going to not play Warrior. They have that ridiculous effect that they throw down that blinds everything you do, and you're a warrior, so you're just in this like circle. Luckily, he's playing rogue. You won't see it. Draw steel.
Through the crackle and sparks, though, Veilguard's combat is definitely a refinement of what we saw in Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. I've always preferred the more tactical style of Dragon Age Origins or Baldur's Gate 3, but that ship sailed so long ago for this studio, not even the Evanurus remember what it looked like.
Okay, dude.
And so, judging this very action-focused combat system for what it is, it's pretty good.
It's not good. And the thing is, right? So another thing we're hearing is like, as you get going on, and there's people who already finished the game too, by the way. So we're getting legit good information, is they substitute your combat difficulty with just giving enemies health. The enemies are very simplistic the way they fight from one type to another. There's really no difference. So it's substituted by health, and that's it. So you'll just be chunking away health, and you'll just be fighting down health, even though at no point are you ever really in any kind of danger of dying, especially with your friends, your companions who can't go down, right? So they'll never go down. So you only have to worry about yourself. So because the game is so simplistic and easy, you're never really in any danger of dying. So it's really just time, right? To take down these waves of enemies, because they'll like throw 3 dark spawn at you. You'll fight them, but then they'll keep just spawning in midair. Like they'll just appear and there's more dark spawn and appear. And so you actually end up fighting like 6 waves of health to just chunk away. And that's really the combat in the game. It's lazy, and Dragon Age deserves better than that. And you can't have good combat in Dragon Age without more of a BG3 style. Personally, that's how I feel. Like, you need a Baldur's Gate 3 style in this game. This type of game deserves that type of fighting.
Has committed fully to the fast-paced style and refined it to a point that I enjoy it quite a bit.
No,
and the
nothing
ability
I've
to
seen
pause
is
and
good
issue
with the
party
fighting.
members'
Look
orders,
at this.
just like in Mass Effect, still gives some opportunity for...
So real quick, I also want to talk about this, right? So you see how these abilities are here, right? Once you knock one out, so basically first of all, your companions are really just holders of abilities. I've spoken on this before. They are just more of your abilities. They don't really do much else. They will take away health on an enemy, but they do so little that they're mostly useless. But they do hold these abilities. Now, when you use this ability right here for him, they all go on cooldown. So it's not like you can use that one, and then that one, and then that one. No. As soon as you use this, they all go on cooldown. Use this, these are going to go on cooldown. The health might be a little different, the heal might be a little different, but like the similar ones, cooldown, all of them, all at once. So it's just like you're always
more
just
tactical
waiting
players like
and chunking
myself
away
to
health
look around the battlefield and consider our next
while waiting
move.
for their cooldown.
It definitely feels better
Look how
on a
awful that
controller
looks.
than mouse and
Look
keyboard,
how
though.
awful that
I was
looks.
somewhat disappointed that party members are more...
And I do believe that this is definitely a controller game, and that's how I'm going to play, because it just looks that way. Because for sure Inquisition was, and this is Inquisition. This is Inquisition, except you only get 3 abilities instead of 8 on your wheel. Because remember, Inquisition, or is it maybe 4 instead of 8? But Inquisition, you had these, right? And there was another one over here. And then you would push a button and it would open up your wheel to the second set. That is gone with Dragon Age, the Veilguard.
Or like extensions of your own character in combat at this point, rather than their own entities. They don't even have health bars, for instance.
I'm shocked at the quality here. It's horrible. Like, when they had this dude capture this, they didn't give him anything to capture that was worth a damn. The quality is absolute trash.
You can't be knocked out, whereas you instantly lose an encounter if Rook goes down. They do have equipment slots and skill trees, though less than what Rook gets. But overall, the amount of customization available for the whole squad through piles and piles of interesting upgradable loot was more than enough to satisfy my RPG appetite.
So you're super limited to how you upgrade your companions. God, why? Like, that's part of the building your party out, but you know why? Because they're invincible.
If not fulfill my wildest fantasies of intricate battle management.
There's no battle management in this game, dude. There's not.
In my 100-hour, near 100%, almost obsessively completionist playthrough, I styled Rook as a Spellblade, a mid-ranged melee hybrid mage, and really enjoyed the playstyle once I'd unlocked all of my core tools.
Interesting, okay.
Dancing with a dagger through a lightning storm I summoned,
it's one of the more
darting out of
interesting
danger and then back in for a lethal blow,
as far as, like, their abilities,
is just a really good time that rewards precise timing and wise target prioritization. This isn't the tactical Dragon Age of my youth, but it is a Dragon Age I can vibe with. And the highlights of combat are definitely the boss fights, which offer a really satisfying challenge, even on the default difficulty.
I'll be the judge of that.
While standard mob fights with Darkspawn or Venatori cultists eventually got a little repetitive after 90 plus hours, Going up against a high dragon
90.
never failed to get my blood pumping, as I had to carefully study attack patterns and think on my feet.
That effect that he is using, this thing
90
looks
plus
horrible.
hours. Going up against a high dragon never failed
That
to get my
is
blood pumping,
awful.
as I had to carefully study attack patterns and think on my feet.
That is a horrible, horrible ability. I hate it.
In the sense that a BioWare RPG is really about your companions,
And the electric effect, again, the electric effect in this game is one of the worst electric effects I've seen in any game. Just look at the dragon. Look at the electricity flowing through it.
in the sense
It
that a
looks horrible.
BioWare RPG is really about your companions, also known as the friends we made along the way, this might be the most BioWare game of all time. Not only is the whole squad made up of complex, memorable, likable, distinct
Stay diverse.
personalities from
Stay diverse.
across Thetis, but they're all treated as the stars of their own story. Veilguard is light on that classic kind of side quest that's like, help Bingo Bongo find some nug grease. And I don't miss those much, because they've been replaced by full-length heroic arcs for each companion.
See, like the layout there looks really nice. See
Much,
how
because they've
they're
been
running up
replaced
here?
by
Like, this is
full
like
length.
my biggest kudos to this game is whoever designed the layouts did a very good job. And with this view, the texturing is hidden, so you can't see how bad it is.
Heroic arcs for
Because of
each
the
companion,
darkness.
with twists, turns, a personal nemesis, major character developments, and a moment of triumph fit for a protagonist rather than a sidekick.
Our rogue necromancer has hidden something terrible behind this door.
It's like the writers took the loyalty missions from Mass Effect 2 and blew them up into 7 miniature games of their own. Almost every side mission ties into
I'm pretty sure the Tash mission, which is that Kunari just saw, is her finding out that she's non-binary. That does seem to be the way. We've seen some leaks, okay, where she's talking about this. And then where she's talking about where she's neither a man nor a woman, or how she doesn't want to wear dresses. This is a Kunari, by the way. Again.
one of these, which obliterates the sense that you're just doing busy work.
Nothing I'm seeing makes me want to look away.
Picking a favorite of the 7 Veilguard members to talk about genuinely feels like an impossible task. I really want to just say all of them are my favorite, but I had a rewarding romance with the
Hold on a
I really
second.
want to just
What's going on here? What this is the female Kunari. What's going on? What is this? Little bulgy
say
down
all
there.
of them are my favorite, but I had a rewarding romance with the stoic Grey Warden Davrin and became mother to his fledgling Griffin pal Asan.
Oh, when you said
So
mother,
he's got to be my pick
popping
for
out
this
of
playthrough. Asan, that is. Seriously, if anything ever happens to this little guy, I will wash Thetis away in a tide of fire.
Okay.
The Vincent Price-inspired gentleman necromancer Emmerich is also a delightful twist on the usual edgy goth death mage tropes.
We'll be fighting weirder stuff than necromancy.
And while we've been asked by
What's
the
with the
devs
side
not to
mouth?
spoil specifically who I'm talking about here, as a non-binary person myself, Veilguard includes some of the most authentic representation of coming to terms with general gender stuff, and having to navigate your family's reaction to it I've yet to see in a game.
This is
It doesn't
Tash.
feel like an after-school special or like I'm being pandered to. It's quite well handled, and finding out that the writer for this character is non-binary themselves did not surprise me at all.
A damn good-looking hero, if I
9.
do say so.
Out of 10. Well, I can't.
The larger
believe it.
plot
He
that's
included
threatening
that
the world
fucking
in the
review.
background as we're doing all these more personal quests is nothing particularly outstanding in its overall structure. We need to unite some factions to fight some evil gods who are trying to do bad things with tentacles. The major wrinkle that makes that interesting
I can't even hear the review anymore. I'm literally not listening. I just can't believe he just admitted that shit in here, okay? Like, we know for sure that that's why you gave it a 9. Because this game, like Corin Bush said, This game is inherently queer. Literally her words. His words.
Interesting, however, is Solus, also known as the Dreadwolf, Fen'Harel, the elven god of lies and rebellion, waiting in the wings, keeping me guessing about whether he was a friend or foe.
Waiting in the wings, okay. So again, this was a part of the leak that Nuri talked to the person who leaked this. Said that Solus is the main bad guy. Of course, you see him in the beginning, but then he's sidelined for almost the entire game until the end. There we got our confirmation. Waiting in the wings. I believe and for sure, just talked about the non-binary thing. That is Tash. Confirmed.
Oh.
I need to know what the gods are planning.
You are asking for knowledge no mortal in this world is privy to.
As a continuation of the Dragon Age series, Veilguard does feel a little disconnected from where we left off a decade ago.
Yeah,
if you were
nothing carries
expecting
over.
decisions from previous games in the series to carry over, I'm sorry to say they've never mattered less. You only get to import 3 choices, one of which only comes up in the context of a single letter you may or may not find and read.
Jesus Christ.
You do get to recreate your Inquisitor from Dragon Age Inquisition, the same way Inquisition let you recreate your Hawk if you played Dragon Age 2, and the Inquisitor ends up being a fairly important character, which was cool.
It isn't just Inquisitor, is it? You were someone before that.
But things like who you chose to make the head of the Chantry at the end of Inquisition never come up.
That is unbelievable. Like, this is the mortal sin for this game. As much as the other crap, just the game looks like just, slop. And it does. The game looks like slop. The fact that you took a Dragon Age game and just said, game 1 and 2, by the way, out the window. They don't even count. Game 3, Inquisition, they only take one choice from that game. One choice. And that is who you romance. And then the DLC from Inquisition are 2 choices. So it's 3 choices altogether. And those 2 choices are, do you disband the Inquisition or not? And do you try to stop Solus or not? Those are all the 3 choices that carry over from all the previous trilogy, but they completely ignore game 1 and 2. That is not okay. This is a Dragon Age game.
There's no sign of the Warden from Origins, even though you visit the stronghold of their order. Hawk gets only a passing mention. There are some other cameos from both Origins and Dragon Age 2, but those characters conspicuously don't reference any important choices you may have made in their presence.
Yeah, of course not.
This story
Laziness.
feels like both a send-off and a soft reboot in a way.
And the soft reboot, again, is exactly what was said by the leaker.
Which was a bit paradoxically refreshing and disappointing
It's
at the same
completely
time.
disappointing.
Agreed.
This is not a
The
Dragon
pacing
Age.
early on is kind of weird too, and I felt like I could practically smell the rewrites. For example, it's hilarious that no one ever says the word Veilguard out loud across the 100 hours I played of this dialogue-packed campaign, exposing a last-minute marketing pivot for what it is.
Which
You're
what it
making
was.
us sound like Solus. That's uncomfortable.
Like 10 months ago, this was called Dreadwolf.
But it doesn't take too long for things to get on a good track story-wise, and when they do, they stay on it. Aside from one huge choice you'll make early on, the most interesting bits of narrative design don't come up until the very end of Veilguard's story.
Let me tell you why. Because they're lazy and they don't want to have choices that change the end of the game or put you down different paths because the devs were lazy with this game. Lazy.
And again, it's hard to dig into this too much without spoiling something, but the finale is also very much in the spirit of Mass Effect 2, which has an ending that up until now may have been the best series of complex consequential
believe it at
choices
all.
ever featured in an RPG.
Nope, it's going to be more like Andromeda. Going to pick a color. I believe that for sure.
The sacrifices I had to make in the closing hours hurt. The wise decisions I made paid off, and I even got the chance to dramatically flick an ace out of my sleeve at the very last moment, specifically because I took a very thorough and careful approach to everything leading up to that. It really felt like the ultimate reward. Throughout it all, the
so that's a cinematic finishing off a boss instead of fighting a boss? What was that?
There is off the charts, proving that BioWare is unmatched in the RPG world in that particular discipline.
The cinematic?
So much of the best stuff I can't even show you here, but parts of it felt like watching a big budget fantasy movie in the best ways. A triumphant and effective, if not quite iconic score elevates these moments further.
Oh, no, disagree. I actually am, I love Hans Zimmer. He is fantastic. But like the theme music and the music in general, it feels more like Marvel. It doesn't actually feel like it fits. Like on its own, maybe it's fine, but it doesn't fit the genre at all. I wonder if he even made it. That's a big
Dragon Age the Veilguard refreshes and reinvigorates a storied series that stumbled through its middle years and leaves no doubt in my mind that it deserves its place in the RPG pantheon. The next Mass Effect is going to have a very tough act to follow.
It's not going to get a
something
chance.
I ever imagined I'd be saying before.
This game is going to underperform. It's going to underperform. I don't know if we'll have a BioWare. We'll see. But this thing needs to move 5 to 6 million units. And it's not going to do that. It might get 2. Like, that's my prediction, and it is not changing.
Before I got swept away on this adventure.
It's good to have goals in life.
Enjoyable action combat, a fantastic cast of allies with sweeping story arcs all their own, top-notch cinematics, and moving, nuanced character writing are the wings on—
No! Come on, dude. We know the writing's not good. We've seen so much of it now. The writing is so, like, teenager. Just like edgy teen. Oh, please, man. And it's like awkward romance stuff. Oh my goodness, please, get real.
On which this triumphant dragon soars. Pulling out all the stops in a whirlwind tour of North—
I'm thinking about, like, when I do this, if there's an electricity ability, even if it's effective, I'm not giving anyone that thing. I can't stand the effect. It's horrible.
Northern Thetis, and capping it with a terrific finale that's built on memorably tough choices and consequences. If we never get another Dragon Age, at least it got to go out on a high note.
Even if that means our world has to burn.
And for everything else, stick with IGN.
I don't think so. You guys can't be trusted.
Out of Weishaupt.
We'll all die, sir.
That's an order, Warden.
Okay.
Can't say I didn't try.
All right, let me know what you thought about that review that actually felt more like an extended trailer and a sales pitch than anything. You know, I just feel like this dude can't be trusted at all. You could tell right away that, like, this aligns with, like, the way this guy wants to live his life, right? And this game panders to it big time. Like, we know this because Corin Bush came out and he said it. Okay, so the game itself, nope, the combat looks bad. I'm gonna try it out myself. I'm gonna prove it to you. The combat is pathetic. The writing is pathetic. The texturing is pathetic. The layouts are really nice. The characters are hit or miss from what we've seen. Valera is insufferable in this game. So I don't know, man. I don't trust this person at all. I think that they have their mind made up beforehand. And the fact the game is just playable, it gets a 9. We know how IGN is. They're freaking weird. They've had this thing set up for Game of the Year. They've known it. We've predicted it for a long time now. Watch what they're going to do with this game, and it doesn't deserve it. Not next to games like Wukong or Space Marine 2. It just doesn't deserve it at all, but they're going to push hard for it. They'll probably give it to it. That's all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so I can see you on the next one. I love you, many pieces. Bye, everybody.
Owning every game, burning like a flame.